everyone, welcome to the Hangout with Kimani. This is Motivation Monday, and I'd say that by far this is going to be one of the most interesting videos I have made. If you are my classmate or former classmate in primary school, you want to watch this video, okay? Sit down, get popcorn, get tea, because I'm about to spill the tea. So basically, this is just a combination of all the times I got into trouble and all the drama that happened at school. So if you're like me and you're thinking, are you wearing your dad's shirt? No, I'm not. This is my shirt. And even me, I thought that, like, wait, is this my shirt? Yes, it's my shirt. Now, anyways, the other day I was going through my diary for 2021, and if you know, 2021 for our class was a crazy year. Yes. So, anyways, the first time I got in trouble was when I first came to school, to Thika Road Academy in class 5. I do not know what was wrong with me, but I was not doing work. You know the students who don't do work, don't listen to teachers, like they just don't do work at all, and then they're always beaten. That was me. And I don't know why, because I have never been like that ever. Ask all my teachers, I have never been like that. But when I came into school, I don't know what happened. I just felt lazy, or I didn't fear the teachers. I don't know. Then it's not that in my other school I didn't do work. I always did work. I was top 10. I was friends with teachers. Even now, I still am. But anyways, in class 5, I don't know what meaning, but I just never did work. I was always in trouble. Then there was this one teacher, I will not mention names for security purposes, who his disciplining was brutal. Let me just say that. This guy would pick you up and throw you. And it's just, and I remember this one time that he was a maths teacher. I hadn't done the homework for the 80,000th time or something in my first week. And he picked me up and just threw me on the ground. And I was there on the ground staring at him uko sawa? Are you okay? Sir, are you okay? Then anyways, after that he was maybe I should watch out. Anyways, I think that was the first time I got in trouble. Then after that, I was a goody two-shoes. But naturally, I am someone who's friends with teachers. I am someone, if I'm bored, I can just go to a teacher and just talk with them, because I can. That's how much of a good kid I am. But I'm not trying to show off. Okay, I'm not trying to show off. But if you're what I can say is, if you're my classmate, then you know. So, it was in class 6, now see, people had been caught dating. Of course, I wasn't there. I was just watching, and I was just there. I'm just seeing I feel like the gossip was just passing over my head, because I'm just seeing couples who I never knew existed ever. Sikujua. Now na too so and so I'm guy, now I'm referring to the person next to me, because the couples were in front, they were made to hold hands, then the rest of us are there. I'm guy, they were together. They're uko nyuma, that's old news. I'm just there, I'm what? Then those couples were made to marry. Anyways, then the next time was this one time when this guy in class, he started this a business of selling lollipops. Basically, you give him money, then he goes to the shop and brings you guys lollipops. So there's this time, I had bought 3 lollipops, and we were just eating them in class. Then the same teacher, he came in and he was you guys are eating lollipops. And then his staff room, because when you're called to the staff room, it's bad, you're in trouble. Then he just basically made us eat them, and really quick. And I almost felt to that day lollipops, because have you ever tried eating 2 lollipops, chewing? This disgusting. Then the next time was when our class made a WhatsApp group. So it was in class 7, first term, like before COVID, like before schools were shut for COVID. So our class had been put a bit far from the staff room, and there was a WhatsApp group. And I remember vividly, it was during an SS lesson, and teacher Jay was teaching, our old SS teacher, Teacher Jay. And people were just being called one by one. Ononacho is writing words. Someone comes into class, like the next person, let's say, the first person is Pillow. Pillow says, okay, calendar, you're being called. Calendar goes. When they come back, they call someone else. I'm just there. I'm chill because I know even if I was in the WhatsApp group, I only talked once. And that was the time that the WhatsApp group was being made, and I was like, hi everyone, I think, something like that. So I was called. Okay, I go to the staff room. It's like, then I find the teachers there. They're like, oh, it wasn't during an SS lesson. But was it? Then why do I remember Chaji? Okay. But anyways, Chaji, and let me tell you, Chaji was a very feared teacher, very intimidated. I will not say why. Kama unajua. Yes. So they were in the staff room. They were like, okay, tell me about the group. I'm like, what do you want me to say? I don't. Then I just say like what I know. Because I'm like, okay, I was just chilling at home. Then I found out I've been added into a group called this and this. I don't remember the name. Then the teachers had that. They were like, oh, what is it? What does that mean? And I could tell that was like they had gotten a new piece of information. So I don't know what this or that. Then Cha was like, you're lying to us. Like after I told, like I didn't know much about the group. So Cha J was like, you're lying to us. I'm like, what do you want me to say? At that point, of course, in my head, I said that to Teacher J. Anyways, in my head, I was like, what do you want me to say? Like, anyways, the case wasn't really finalized because of COVID when school was closed. So yeah. There was another case, but I don't say that. That one was really personal, not to me, but to a friend of mine, and I am not going to expose them like that. So like the next biggest case, like the biggest case in the history. Oh wait, before that, but in class 7, like first term before COVID, and I know everyone in class is still salty about this. That one time tulichapwa because someone put tissue in her tea. So basically, the story is this girl, she's a chopper, a choppy, chepe, whatever you call them, always number 1. You get the point. And she was like me. What I know is that she's really pretty. She's pretty, you know, and she gets good. Basically, girls are jealous of her. Like, I don't think there's any girl in our class who was not being jealous of her in one point in time, including me. So, one day, she went to like teacher and she said, someone has put tissue in my tea. As in, she had tea and there was a piece of tissue. And it was written Alia. So it's like a message, like, what? Then, it was her tissue. Like, anyway, like, hold on, what? So apparently, she was like, you know, you can test out your pen on tissue like that, fountain pen. Then she had drawn it on the ground, I think. Then someone had taken it from the ground and put it in her tea. Whoever you are, God is seeing you, and you are a accurate person. They were all beaten that day for one person. Wow. And we still don't know who it is. Aki, God has seen you. God saw you, okay? We might not know who you are, but God saw you. So, she reported to the teacher. Then, like, the teachers were really, like, angry with us. And they were, like, they were, like, trying to threaten us. Then, as you thought, it's a small case. So, I usually, like, assume the role of a leader in class. So I remember I was standing in front of class and I was giving them like a speech. I don't know what was wrong with me. Okay. I was giving them a speech and I was like, you guys, like, let's be honest here. Like, if you put the tissue in her tea, step forward. No one stepped forward. Not that I was expecting to. But in the middle, smack dab in the middle, I was sitting in front because I couldn't see. At that time, I didn't know I needed glasses, but I was almost as blind as a bat. As in, I'm sitting on the front row and I still can't see. Like, imagine, and people didn't believe me, but turns out I just needed glasses. So, I remember I was sitting in front, and Naima, who was sitting at the back corner, had come and had sat in my seat. So, when Teacher Elijah walked in, and he found me talking, and I'm just there, I pause. Because I'm like, if I go see, it's like I was doing something wrong. Then he's like, go sit. I'm like, Naima, girl, stand up. She goes to her place, I sit down. After Elijah, guess who comes out after him? Jay and all the other teachers. Now, all the other teachers are in our class. Like, almost all the teachers are in our class. And they are there interrogating us. Who put the tissue in this girl's tea? And we were like, oh gosh. So that day, all of us were beaten. Oh my gosh, we were beaten. Wow. You know who you are. Why did you do that? You couldn't have come forward. You wouldn't have been beaten. And if you were, you know who you are. God has seen you. Anyways, long story short, we were beaten. Then we were told, pack your bags. You're going home. Like, this is like the 8th time. No, this is not the 8th time. That was, I think, the first or the second time they had done that. They had told us to pack our bags that we were going home. So we packed our bags. I was standing there with the heaviest bag in the world, like at the corner, and people were major. I'm sweating kabisa. I feel like I have scoliosis because the bag is heavy. It was just wow. Whoever put tissue in Alias, unajijua man. Anyways, so after that is like now the biggest case that our class has ever gotten into. So we're in class 7 now after COVID. Now schools have just been opened up. And after COVID, the way all the kids walikuwa wameharibika. Yes. So the whole story starts from, let me start from the start kabisa, is where we had this new SS teacher. Teacher J had gone. This new SS teacher. And we were in a classroom. And where our classrooms were posh, now we had been moved into like a really posh classroom. As in tiled floors, like white tiled floors, whiteboard. Basically, this guy, Ink Boy, because if you're my classmate, you know who he is. Ink Boy threw a porch which had a glass bottle. Those glass bottles for ink. And it broke and it spilled ink all over the floor. And the floors are white tiled floors. So people were cleaning the ink. Then the teacher walked in and he found them cleaning. Then he told our class teacher. But before that, the whole story is basically these people were stealing each other's porches. Then after like they had stolen Ink Boy's porch. After that day we called him Ink Boy. So that's why. So they decided, let's return the porches. So the girl who had stolen the porches passed to another girl. Let's call the other girl G. So she told G, pass this porch to Ink Boy. G passed the porch to Ink Boy. Then Ink Boy thought that G is the one who had been stealing. So to revenge, because he was angry, he grabbed G's porch and threw it. But there was a glass ink bottle, and that's how it happened. So after that, the SS teacher told our class teacher. Our class teacher came and she was like, what's the whole story? People explained. And if you're my classmate, you might be wondering, how is that related to the staff room case? Here is where it happens, and I don't know if you guys noticed. But the moment teacher asked, is there anything else that's going on? That's when the case started. That's when hiyo kitu ya staff room ilianza. So she was like, is there anything else you want to tell me? I'm like, done. Because if there's anyone who has mdomo in class, it's me. And after COVID, the kids walikuwa wameharibika kabisa. Even me, I was also like rotten. So he was like, Ink Boy was like, oh, Abby asked me whether I like G. Do you know why I had said that? Because a friend of mine had told me that all boys, like almost all, like 4 boys like G. And I was like, wait, what? And it's like, yeah, like everyone thinks G is attractive. And I'm like, oh, really? So what do you think my 13-year-old naive self did? I went and I asked a few people, do you like G? Aki, what is wrong with you? What is wrong? So, Ink Boy was one of those people. And Chame, okay, let me just say her name because teacher, I love you. And I know, but I know she watches my videos. So I wouldn't say her name if there was anything bad. So Chameri asks me, like, Abi, is this true? And I'm like, oh, yeah, like, I had told Ink Boy, Abi has told me, like, Abi, like, Nyuki, Abi has told me that, no, I told him a little bird has told me that you might like G. And I'm like, and then she says, is that true, Abi? And I'm like, oh, the said bird is this guy called W. And the people turn to W. Then he says, no, CG, this, that. And agitator, I'm left in the spotlight. Then a few small cases are brought up. Then most of them are solved. Na story iliisha hapo. Story haikuisha hapo. That was the day Chameri realized something was wrong. Anyways. So, after that, watu wameharibika. So, there was a particular, these 2 girls were discussing something private. And this guy wanted to know what was going on. And mind you, this guy has already gotten in trouble before. So he's like, oh, tell me what you guys are talking about. And he basically threatens them in an interesting manner. And the same guy had also told me something interesting before. So I'm like, that time I'm like, Nasi, I'm a good kid. Like, I won't get in trouble. So let me just tell on him. I see what happens. Big mistake. And if you're my classmate, I owe you an apology because the whole reason for that staff room case was probably me. I'm sorry. Because the moment I convinced that girl, let's go tell teacher what was going on, I think that's the moment they decided we have to deal with that class. So the whole thing was probably my fault and I'm sorry, guys. So I was like, we have to go tell teacher. Then she didn't want to tell teacher. And like I understood why, because like, then I was like, no, I convinced her. We went, we told teacher. Teacher was like, okay. The next day, in front of class, like 3 teachers, they were like beating him. They were like, then we thought story li sharpo. Then we were told, at this afternoon after lunch, come to the staff room. And as I've said before, when you're told come to the staff room, nikubaya, it's bad, kimeumana. So we go to the staff room, and basically what the teachers say is, the teachers were picking random people, and basically they were saying, if you know something, then say. If you don't know something, then we are beating you. So they picked some random people, do you know anything? No. Until like the 3rd person said, do you know anything, like about anyone, even if it's yourself? The person said, yes. Okay. Then they said, They said something about these boys. Mind you, I was in almost every case. How? Because I have a big mouth. Or I had a big mouth. I still do, but minimize. Basically, my problem was kirere. I just had to know everything and had to tell everyone everything I know. So if I know a case, I go tell someone. And the whole thing spreads. Why? Because of me. So, of course, every single case was traced back to me. all of them, almost all of them. So they were saying, actually, these boys were doing this and this at the back of the class. So at the back of the class was that friend of mine, the one who had tissue in her tea. So I used to sit there a lot just to talk with her because, we had time at the time. So they were like, oh, Abby was there. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what do you want to do? You want to finish me? You want me to die? If you hated me, you could have just said, but do you want me to die? So I was called to say what I knew. At that time, I'm lost. I am confusion because I don't remember what's going on. So I just say, like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Then I'm beaten. There were only 2 people who were beaten that day, and I was one of them. I was beaten. They're like, don't you dare lie to us. Then I remembered. I was like, oh, I have remembered. Then I said. Then, at the time, it looks like I remembered because I've been beaten. It doesn't. If I don't know, I don't know. But anyways, yes. So, shall let me go, whatever. Then, the small cases start up. Like, basically crashes, dating, stuff like that. And the worst part is that when I say I was in almost every case, I'm not joking. Yani, like, of course, there were some things that, like, I didn't know. There were some things I was like, did you guys know this? Like, this is new. But basically, a lot of cases could be traced back to me. What do I mean? As in, so-and-so, like so-and-so. How did they know? Abby told them. Okay, let's go here. Okay, so-and-so, alikatia so-and-so, but alikatiwa. Or how do you know this? Abby told me. Okay, let's go here. Okay, so-and-so did this to so-and-so. Unajua aje? Abby told me. Anyways, you were told to go back to class. And you were told to pack your bags. You were calling your parents. I was like, oh, this again. So we packed our bags. We stood in. And it's like at like 1-2 Apple. And we live in, like, the school is in Kauskari, like Riru. So it's hot. The sun is hot. We are there, we're like frying under the sun. Then the teachers come out of the staff room after having a meeting. They're like, okay, we are writing letters to your parents, but the head teacher isn't here to sign them. We're like, you're writing letters to our parents. That's when you know it's getting serious. So we are told that go to class, have lunch, then come back. After we come back, we're told go to class. We go to class, we're arranged according to our positions. And we thought the story ended there. No. The next day, are teachers petty or no, delete that part. The next day, guess what the teachers had done? They had written like a message of all the cases and who was involved. And they had sent it to all the teachers that teach us. So as in when a teacher comes to teach, they pull out their phone, they're like, oh, okay, so you did this. Okay, and Abby, you did this. And you said this. Imagine, why though? why go through all that effort? Anyways, so Elijah came and we were made to lie down on the floor. And he started like calling out completely randomly. And that is the moment when I knew I messed up. I am done. Like, so basically after you state your case and whatever, you go out. So the reason why I knew I was done is because he called one person up. They said their case and I was connected to that case. Then the second person and I was connected. Then the third person, I was also connected to that case. And then Elijah looked at me, he's like, Kimani. Because he usually calls me Kimani. He's like, Kimani, like, you see, like, you're the news. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm gonna die. Like, So after we stood outside, I don't remember. Oh yes, you were told after break, go to the office. So after break, we went to the office. Elijah called the names of the 8 students who were most troublesome. Surprise, who was there? Me. And let me tell you, even in the staff room, Teachers were shocked, were flabbergasted that I was I was even in those cases. They were like, Kwanza, I remember one teacher was like, Abi, and you're the one who preached for us on Friday. Even me, I was shocked. Like, the teachers they were like, okay, I didn't know Abi, like, where? But anyways, that's because I'm generally a good kid. And so we went, then after lunch we came back. Then you are told, go to the office, Elijah will speak to you one by one. So we went. Guess what was waiting for us? He had his laptop open and there was a suspension letter. And basically there was a dash there. So it says, your child, then you're supposed to type your name, like your child, like I write Abi Kimani, is going to be suspended from this date to this date. After that, come with her. And now everyone, like the 7 of them, because we're 8, they're crying, they're stressed, they're like this, they're like that. And I am calm. I was not, let me just say, even if, like, I know a teacher who has taught me is watching this. Please, I know. But I was not scared. I think I don't know, I just wasn't scared. I wasn't, like, terrified. I was pretty calm. Why? I don't know. I think it's because I knew that it was a fox. I know it's very possible to be suspended, but I just think the reason for suspending was very, like, because there's no you're gonna suspend me for gossiping. Like, surely. But I just knew there was something fishy about it, so I wasn't really, like, troublesome. Also, because I'm really close with my parents, so I had already snitched on myself. Like, my parents already knew the whole story. And they were like, okay. So after we wrote that, we were told to go back to class. You'll be told more tomorrow. So tomorrow I come to school. It was Wednesday that day. We were told it's okay, the suspension thing is over. Then that day, during like a lesson, Shamiri calls me and she's like, oh, like let's kidogo Abi. Then I think maybe it's something to do with work. But even if it's the case, she's just telling me, like, I expected more from you. Which is understandable because, like, come on, like, it's me. So, she takes me to the office. Guess who I see there? Mom and Dad. Well, I was like, okay, I'm done. We weren't that angry because even though I was connected to a lot of the cases, I wasn't really involved per se. Like, I wasn't the doer of the action. I was just the one who spread, you understand? But anyways, I learned my lesson that day. Since that day, I've not really been in a major case. The only time I've been beaten is for maybe like not performing. Yes, I think I'll end this video here because it's getting really long. Also, if you're my classmate and you didn't know some of these things, now you know. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.